And we are back. Would you like to learn the pros and cons of country scouting in Medellin, Colombia? Well, this video is for you. So, this is my third video. My first video, we had so much traction. So many people were interested in Medellin, Colombia. So, that is why I brought this video to you all today. So, if you are interested in learning more about Colombia in general, please see my first video. In that first video, we were talking about affordable housing in Colombia, different cities if you want them to be affordable in Colombia. So, you can definitely check that out when you get a chance. All right, welcome to my channel, Fly Like Me, PhD. I am Dr. Maya, and I encourage Black women to live or travel abroad. I have traveled to 45 countries and about 5 territories, places that are owned by other countries. Colonization, what you gonna do? And I have lived in 6 countries. One of the countries that I lived in was Colombia. I lived in Colombia for an entire year. So that is what we are talking about today. Uh, First off, I want you all to know that one of my subscribers really wanted to talk about a walkable city that I have country scouted in. And so that is why we are talking about Medellin, Colombia, or one of the reasons. So that you all are aware, country scouting is when you are interested in living in another country. You go to other countries maybe for a few days, maybe for a few weeks. I recommend like 2 weeks to maybe a month, and you go in different neighborhoods. You get the vibe almost as if you live there to find out if you want to live there in the future. Some people call it country dating, country scouting. You're kind of dating around to find the right country for you. I have country scouted in 4 countries in order to find out what worked for me. All right, so today we are talking about Medellin, Colombia, which is the Spanish pronunciation. If you are interested in the English pronunciation, it's Medellin, Colombia. And if you want to know the nickname of this space, it is Medallo. So I am telling you all this today just so that you know I may refer to it as Medellin, Spanish, Medellin, English, or Medallo. All right, so we are going to get into it. Country scouting in Medallo, pros and cons. So unlike my other videos, I tended to tell you all how many pros and cons there were. I'm not going to do that in this video. I have very few cons. I have a whole lot of pros. So I don't want to bore you with how many pros, how many cons. We're just going to talk about them today. So, y'all, I've recovered from my cold, and I am so happy to have this conversation with you. I am so excited to discuss this topic. As you know, I lived in Colombia for 1 year, and Medellin is my favorite city in Colombia. It is. I love, love, love that city. It has so much to offer. So, what we're going to do, surprisingly, is start off talking about the cons of living in Medellin because I ain't got that many. So we can just be done with her real quick. And then we're going to get into all the illustrious pros of Medallo. All right, so let's buckle in and let's do this thing together. So first, our first con is going to be homeless population. Because homeless or unhoused people are a stigmatized population around the world, it can make people feel uncomfortable to see homeless people. We haven't been taught how to interact with them, how to talk to them, how to relate to them. And so just seeing them can be hard, and that is classist. They are a part of the society too. So I want you to know that in Medellin, there is going to be a homeless population. There could be people on the street with their kids. They might ask you for money. A lot of times they're selling things, maybe like bracelets or something that they made. If you think about New York in the subway, people will be like performing for money a lot of times. It's kind of like that. You can see people on the streets like performing with their kids, maybe singing a song to get some money. So that is a piece of this homeless population. Please be respectful of unhoused individuals. You do not know their story. You do not know how they got there. We do not need to stigmatize and blame them for whatever happened in their life, but they are present in this city. And so I need you to know that. Another thing that I need you to know is if air quality is important to you, this can be a little challenging. The air quality here is not that great because there's a lot of traffic. I'm going to talk about this in the pros. There's a lot of buses and taxis, and we know that traffic and cars equal pollution. And so the air quality may not be that great. So if you're a person that has like asthma or you have like some condition where breathing is hard, then this place might not have the best air quality. Also, it is a very touristic city in Colombia. A lot of people travel to see all of the things that I'll mention in pros. And so it's really crowded. It's really crowded. There was a time I went to a restaurant and there were like 30 people waiting in line. And we had to wait for a little while to get into that restaurant. It's crowded. It's going to be people everywhere. Similar to Mexico City, it's a crowded place. So there are people around. And if you're just not interested in crowds, if you don't like to be claustrophobic, this could be a lot for you. Okay, so motion sickness is another negative here. That's another con to this list. From the moment that I arrived in the taxi just to get to my Airbnb, I wasn't going to visit no mountain. I wasn't going to see nothing. It was a really windy road. It was a lot. I have motion sickness. My mom is probably going to watch this video. It's her fault. She did that. And so it makes life a little hard when you have motion sickness, but always taking medicine would be helpful. Or if you think about dancers when they're spinning, they kind of focus on one thing. So sometimes in taxis, I try to focus on one thing so that I don't get really dizzy. They also, I think, have like bracelets that you can like hold on to kind of like regulate yourself. But if you don't like motion sickness, it is very windy. Colombia is very hilly. It has a lot of mountains, so it could be a lot for you if that's too much. Also, there are a lot of animals here, and I'm going to talk about this in my pros. But there's a lot of dogs, people walking them dogs, and people forget to scoop the poop. This is not a place where they are really advocating strongly for people to scoop the poop, you getting fines, things like that. So you could be walking down the street, there could be some poop on that ground. And if you don't like that, looking down all the time, making sure there's no poop, could be a lot. It could be a lot. So this is a major city. These are the things you need to know. All right, y'all. I have this beautiful cup. Y'all know I'm a doctor, Dr. Maya girl. Hey. And so I might drink from her from time to time. I know y'all gonna be thinking that it's bubbly, but it's really just water. I love water. So, water break. All right. I needed to take a water break because I need to talk to you. We need to have a conversation, and it is going to be about my final con. And we need to have some time. We need to take a breath. We need to talk about this. Crime. Now, the US has done a wonderful job making people think that Colombia is just a criminal enterprise. Narcos, drugs everywhere, cartels, that is their favorite thing to do about places in Latin America. It is more than that, but I would be remiss if I didn't tell you that there is crime. And jokes on you, there's crime everywhere. There's crime all over the entire world. Y'all know I'm the world traveler. I have never been to one place in the whole world that does not have crime. Let's talk about the US. Places with a lot of white people, places that they tell us are so safe, are not. I went to the University of Michigan. I lived in Ann Arbor. Crime. There was a crime spree. We were getting crime alerts all the time as students. There was crime in Ann Arbor, okay? Bunch of white people, crime. We felt fearful as students. I was a student at UT in Austin, Texas. There was crime on campus near my building. Murder. Austin, Texas. White. I lived a lot of places, y'all. I lived in Seattle, in Washington. White people. Crime. Breaking into people's cars. Crime. So I'm just letting you know, in the US, places that are perceived as very safe, a bunch of white people, that's why they perceive them as safe. Crime. You cannot escape crime in this life. All right, let's go abroad. Other places that I have associated with white or lighter skinned people. Spain. One of my homegirls, I lived in Spain. That was one of the places that I lived. I studied abroad there. Seville, Spain. Somebody took her wallet while we were at a restaurant. Crime. It had all of her credit cards and everything in it. Crime. Argentina. I lived in Argentina. Crime. I was on a study abroad program and we were so young. We were 16, right? We was in high school. We sat our bags down to take pictures like we're in Argentina, and they stole somebody's wallet. They went into the backpack and stole the wallet. Crime day one in the airport. Crime. So I'm just letting you know, the whole world is filled with crime. Colombia is no different. But I'm going to let you know specifically the crime that's happening in Colombia that I want you to avoid if you choose to go here. So in Medellin or in Colombia in general, because I lived in Valledupar, and there was crime. So the one thing that Colombians constantly tell us, the locals constantly tell us, is not to walk around with your phone. It makes you a target. So as a tourist, a lot of times we have our phone because we like, girl, where we going? What are the directions? How do I get here? And people snatch them phones. They have told me so many times, Maya, do not walk with your phone in your hand. So many times in Colombia. They snatch phones all the time. So walking with the phone in the hand, not a good idea. Having a phone call, not a good idea. When you get to your destination, you can take pictures and have your phone and send text, but walking looking down, crime. So in Colombia, what they actually had done, I lived there 2 years ago, was they had a law that prohibited two men from riding on a motorcycle at the same time. One man was the getaway driver. The other man was the one that would snatch phones. They be snatching phones. My friend's phone got stolen in Colombia. Crime. So this is one of the biggest things. It's also going to be pickpocketing, which I think globally is an issue because Medellin is a very touristic spot. You got tourists written on your head and they like, oh, you came all this way. You're not from the space. You obviously had to pay for a ticket to get there, accommodations. You're paying for food. You're paying for transportation. They think you got money, even if you know you don't. You know you saved up the whole year for this one trip. But that's the assumption. I have the unfortunate same assumption in the US. I see people from China buying real fancy cars. I'm like, oh, girl, you rich. That's just the target from being a person from outside of the space. Sometimes people think that you have a lot of money, even when you don't. And so this has been an issue. There's pickpocketing, right? They sprayed something on your shirt and you're like going to wipe it away. Girl, they took your wallet. So do not carry your wallet, your passport, anything valuable in your pockets. Carry it on your person. There are jackets where you have pockets on the inside. Carry it on your person where somebody got to undress you to get your stuff, okay? Not they can just like bump into you or just go in your pockets. Don't do it. They got crossbodies now. You can put stuff in the crossbody and wear it on your pocket. Let's go back old school. When I was in middle school, we had our backpack in the front and had our hands on top of our backpack. So no, there is that type of crime in Colombia. Watch out for your phone. Watch out for your wallet. Okay, y'all, I am so exhausted because I love Medellin so much and I had to bring it down. But now we get to bring it up, like all the way up. Let's raise the roof. We about to bring it all the way up and I'm going to tell you all of the amazing pros about living in Medellin, Colombia. I'm ready to go, y'all. There's so many pros. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. Okay. So, first and foremost, I had a subscriber that wanted to know about a walkable city. This is a walkable city. People are walking all the time. Walking dogs, walking themselves, walking with couples, walking with friends. Very walkable city. Really nice sidewalks. Walkable city. That's our first pro. We starting off strong. If you want a walkable city, this is it for you. It's really walkable. That being said, transportation is incredible. You got buses, you got taxis, you got the teleférico, you have a rental bikes that you can rent and ride around. You have, yeah, you have all those options to get around. So what is a teleférico is like a ski lift or a cable car. It is that car that is on a cable that is like ascending and takes you up to another place. They use that as a form of transportation, y'all. And it's very easy to get it. You have your little bus card or your little card, you put a little money on it, you're in the teleférico. And it was so cute. We rode the cable car to get to a neighborhood to visit a friend. And you get to enjoy the scenery while you're in the cable car. You get to look around. You're like, oh, that's cute. And it's a form of transportation. Excellent, excellent, excellent transportation in the city. That's why they got pollution, okay? Pros and cons. I need you to do a cost-benefit analysis, which is it more worth it to not have great air quality, but to have fire transportation? Or to have good quality air and no transportation? Figure it out for yourself. Okay, pets. Very pet friendly. If you are a pet girl, this is the place to go. That's why I told you, scoop that poop. Here we go. Cost benefit analysis. Like, do you want it to be pet friendly, but people not picking up the poop? Or somewhere that's not pet friendly and you can walk freely all the time and never look down? Very pet friendly. From the moment I got out of the taxi, somebody was walking a dog and somebody else was walking a dog. Dogs everywhere. People walking them all the time. Lots of veterinarian shops for you to take if something happens to your dog. Just a very pet friendly place. Parks where you can walk your dog. Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful in terms of that. All right, this is going to be one of my favorite pros about Colombia. Community. These are some of the kindest people I have ever met. You know I've been to 45 countries. These are some of the kindest people I have ever met. Such sweet and loving people in Colombia. I had someone in Colombia that allowed me to stay with them for an entire month while I was looking for housing. I had people that were willing to drive me around, help me look for housing every single day. I mean, cook for me every day. Just some of the kindest people I've ever met. I lived in Colombia as a researcher working with the university, and I met a host family. I just like inserted myself into someone's family. I really bonded with a woman that I met, and she would have me over her house all the time. I still keep in contact and visit them. I have a host family as a grown person, right? Like not as a student where it's just like so easy to get a host family. That is how kind Colombians are. Let me tell you about Medallo. My friend was going to buy a watch and her Spanish is like beginner. The lady that was selling the watch was teaching her Spanish while selling her the watch. She was trying to teach her how to set the watch, what the times were, and she was teaching her all the numbers in real time. She was trying to get money and, it was counting out the denominations, and they were like, this is 10, this is 5, this is that coin. And in order to buy this coffee, it equals this coin plus these two. Like, just so sweet. For me, I was trying to get to a destination, and this guy at the restaurant I was just eating at, he left his post to walk me 2 blocks to my destination and made sure I made it safely. I said, sir, don't you gotta work? He was like, I'll be back. I need to make sure you get there. Kindness, beauty, beautiful people. Another pro that I love, Black people. You gonna see Black people every day. As a tourist, as a local. I went on a tour and I got to talk with Dominicans in Spanish. It was a whole group of them, like 30 holding it down. I also talked to Black people from the US. There were Black friend groups like Girls Trip, think Girls Trip, Black women out there traveling. There were Black solo travelers. There was one Black woman by herself, solo traveling. There were Black friendship groups. There was a group of Black men from the US traveling. So, like, you gonna see Black people there. Now, y'all know I'm from Detroit. Is it gonna be like a Detroit 95% Black girl? No. No. But you can see Black people. It's not like you have to search for Black people. They gonna be there as local or as tourists, because I told you this is a very touristic spot. So Blackness is blackening. Okay, grocery stores and bodegas. So bodegas are places where you can get essentials like fruits, meats, condiments, you needed milk, right? So think about when we always tell each other, or we make those jokes in movies like, I gotta knock on my neighbor's door and ask for a cup of sugar. That's the bodega. The bodega is your neighbor. It will be like a little small shop that's in the neighborhood, and you're like, dang, I ran out of sugar. You can go to bodega real quick and just get sugar, right? Unlike sometimes in the US, we got to drive all the way to a grocery store to get that thing. The bodega right there. It's right next door. Tons of bodegas, tons of grocery stores. So it is available for you to be able to buy the things that you need really quickly. They had this huge market that had so many options in terms of food and meat, and the locals selling their own products that they raised. A huge market, beautiful market. It was like a wonderland for me. So many things. You could buy everything you needed at that market. Really great grocery stores, really great bodegas, really great markets. Are y'all having fun yet? Okay, if you are loving this video, give us a like right now, because I am gushing talking about and remembering Medellin. Okay, so our next pro is that if you're a foodie, they got good food options. The food is fooding. They got vegetarian options. They got vegan options. They got meat options. They got health food options. They got like dessert options. Like whatever you need, they have. All of the food, a plethora of food. US dollar for food in Colombia goes very far. We went to a place that's called Crepes and Waffles. We bought 2 drinks. We bought 2 entrees. We bought 2 appetizers, $30 total. That meal in the US, girl, $80, $90. Full meals. We were full and took food to go. $30, 2 people. They got your back. Green spaces, very beautiful. I told you there are mountains and hills. You can just look out of your window and see the beauty very easily. They also have a bunch of parks if you like to sit in parks, really great. Cafes, awesome. If you're a remote worker, if you got to study, if you just want to read outside of your apartment, you want to sit, be in a cafe, have a nice little, coffee or a tea, have a good meal. Nice cafes. Real nice. It's well lit at night. We walked around at night. The lights were still there. We could see where we were going. It wasn't scary at all. It felt very comfortable. Another pro is that it's kid friendly. They got activities. They got malls with things to do, playscapes in there. The cutest thing I've ever seen is they had a bookstore just for kids, kid friendly. Okay, if you like music and dancing, girl, that's me. Tell me what a party is. We went into the mall and there was a live performance and people was dancing. I had to jump in. I said, one, two, three, one, two, three. It was fun. So they have live music and dancing, music playing all the time. You got Provenza, which is a very popular place. Listen to Carol G's song, okay? She talked about it. It's an area that has bars and, discotheques or like clubs for dancing. I mean, music. I mean, they got a street that's just filled with places for you to have a good time. It's a whole vibe. And whatever vibe you're looking for, if you want a bar, they got it. If you want dancing, they got it. If you want music, they got it. If you want food, they got it. If you want to turn up, they got it. And in some ways, Provenza is a little bit catered to tourists a little bit. They'll have things related to gringos, is what they call American people, gringos. But know that gringos are white people. We are Afro gringos. Okay, we're Afro gringos. But anyway, so they have like gringo days and like half off for gringos. Maybe a problem if we really dive into it, but still, you can have a really great time. And you can ask the locals where these places are. They had a whole street where they were like selling stuff and so much food. I mean, like, if you need fun, you want fun stuff to do, nightlife, they got you. Medallo. They have Afro Festival, where there is so many black people, wall to wall. We went there, beautiful black people speaking in Spanish, girl, or people not speaking in Spanish, because girl, we was there. Music, performances, and inside they had local Afro-Colombian people selling products. I bought some gorgeous earrings from there. They had clothing and food. I mean, it was wonderful. Wonderful. This is actually the place that black expats love the most. So black expatriates, people that decide to live abroad, if they're going to live abroad in Colombia, it's going to be in Medallo. Most of them, lots of them. Good neighborhoods. You have neighborhoods that have a lot of transportation in them. So like it's close to the bus station and stuff. You have neighborhoods that are a little bit more quieter, residential. You have neighborhoods that are close to the party. Like the neighborhoods are so great. My favorite neighborhood is Belen. It has an outdoor gym that is completely free. It's got a basketball court. It's got a tennis court. It's got a track. It has a playground with swings for kids. It had a swimming pool. It had weights and machines. And so you can work out for free. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life. 45 countries, never seen anything like this before. But they have all this workout equipment. So if you want to work out, you can do it. And then you can also pay to take classes. They had like swimming classes and basketball classes. They also had a cafe for food, because remember, girl, food is good. So this city is very healthy. If you are a healthy person, you like healthy food, you want to be walking, you want to be riding your bike, it really promotes motion and being healthy. This seems like a really healthy city if that's important to you too. It has an international airport and you can get a direct flight. I got a direct flight from Cali straight to Medellin. You can get a direct flight, or they'll have you stop in Panama, because it has a international airport and they have a lot of great flights coming in and out of Panama. But you stop in Panama and then it's just 1 hour and then you're in Medellin. So like very great airport. That airport will allow you to travel to other black nations. So you can go to Curacao, see my second video. You can go to Trinidad and Tobago. You can go to other places in the Caribbean. You can go to Brazil. Okay, that's the Brazilian flag, y'all, if y'all didn't know. You can go there too. So it gives you like access to other black nations as well as getting back to the US. And this is a great place for people to visit in general. It has touristic things. Y'all know it's got Comuna 13 or Commune 13 that is very historic to Medellin. You want to learn about the culture, they have that. And so it's great, y'all. And that's the end. I don't know how many pros there were. There were so many. It was so great. And girl, like 5 kinds, I don't know. I don't care. So if I am so lucky, I would love to return to Medellin, Medallo in 2026. At this time, I want to thank all of the Colombian people that have been so gracious and so kind and so wonderful to me when I lived there for a year. I will never forget you and your kindness. And if it is meant to be, if the universe wants us to be together, I'm going to see you in 2026, girl. All right, so that's the end. Please subscribe if you have not. Also, know that I always read my comments and I try to reply to comments as much as I can. You know, in my comments is how I knew that one of my followers was interested in a video that focused on walkable cities for country scouting. So in the comments, I would like you all to tell me, where are you traveling next year, internationally or domestically? I'm gonna tell y'all where I'm going. Domestically, I'm going to Hawaii for a wedding in January. Okay, your girl's not getting married, but a friend is getting married, so I'm gonna be there for the new year. Yay. Okay, so tell me where you're going. And then thank you always to my subscribers, the people that have always already subscribed. You all have been so great. I love you all so much. You're so supportive of a Black woman trying to be out here hustling. I love y'all. Okay, so let's talk about what our next video is. It's dedicated to another subscriber who wrote in my comments. And so we are talking about tips for new travelers. If you have anxiety about traveling, it's your first time, we're going to give you some tips. We're going to let you know how to alleviate that stress. All right, y'all, I had a wonderful time with y'all. Happy holidays. And I'm going to see you next time. Bye.